Live better and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Kohler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Kohler.
Well, hi team. I'm Fitz Kohler, your very noisy race announcer from fitzness.com, and welcome to the Fitzness Show. Today we've got another doozy. We love adventure, right? We love athletics and athletes, and this chick who I'm bringing on today, again, she's a repeat guest, is the queen of athletic adventure. She's Ashley Paulson. She was my guest back in September of 23. If you have not listened to that show, you have to go back. She tells the tale of her dramatic two-time Badwater Championship, where it was fraught with conspiracies about her cheating. And then she had this, incredible redemption tale where she came back and slaughtered absolutely everybody who ran the race the second time. And she's incredible. Ashley Paulson, she's a joy. She's no stranger to distance running, not only the Badwater races, which are 135 miles, but she's run a couple of 200-mile races this year and 250 milers. And today we're going to talk about her doing the World Marathon Challenge, which is 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days, which is a pretty big deal. That's right. Can you imagine? I mean, some people they spend months training for one marathon, which is a very big deal. I know I've trained for one marathon. And when I finished that one marathon right here in the United States, I felt like I was a pretty big deal. That's right. Highly accomplished and a lot to celebrate. But she said, nah, one's not enough. I'm going to go do 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days, which is crazy. How does that happen? She's going to tell us all about it. So welcome back, Ashley Paulson. How are you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so great. I really enjoy you so much, Ashley. It's nice having somebody to root for.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the cheers and the love. Seriously, I feel the support. So thank you. Never stop. I need it.
Yeah, you're incredible. Thank you also for agreeing to be back on my show. You have so much to share.
Oh my gosh. I was actually talking to my husband. I was like, I was on her show. It wasn't too long ago. I'm like, it actually was forever ago. But yeah, it's so long. So I'm so happy to be back. When was it?
I think it's been about a year.
Was it? Okay. Was it after Badwater?
It was after Badwater. Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember. I just was like, oh, yay. So happy to be here. So thank you for having me. I know you've got plenty of options. So to choose me means a lot.
Golly, you've done so much. And we can get to all the things. But I want to talk about your World Marathon Challenge.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I still can't. Did that really happen? Was that real life? It's crazy. It's been 2 weeks almost since we were done.
So explain to the listeners who have no idea what the World Marathon Challenge is, what it is.
Okay, this is something that I get all like, how in the world do you travel from continent to continent in 7 days? So it's 7 marathons in 7 continents in just 7 days. And so there's a chartered plane that takes all of the athletes. So that's the biggest thing. It's not like we're just going through to the marathon or to the airport trying to catch a flight from Delta. Obviously,
right.
There's going to be all sorts of delays with that. This one, it is there specifically for the athletes that are doing this challenge. And there was definitely a lot of delays and stuff with it, but we were able to still hit all 7 continents in that 7-day period and get that marathon done. So it was really amazing. We're on a private plane. The seats all recline. You feel like you're royalty. It was so crazy to just be like, oh, I get whatever I want. And they didn't even like have you sit your seat up when you land. Like, like they're probably supposed to. There's a few times where like, wait, are we on the ground? And I'm laying flat. Anyway, it was just so fancy. It was amazing. So that's the challenge. The biggest thing, you start in Antarctica. Now, Antarctica, what? Yes, you heard
okay. Now hold
a marathon there.
Okay, pause for a second. So just for all the people who are out there who are thinking, oh my God, I've never even done a 5K. and you're agreeing to do not just one marathon. And some of us do one marathon, and that's a big deal. You do one, you train your whole life for it. You get there, you cross the finish, you live on it forever. So you've run how many marathons? And we'll be right back. Did you know that wearing compression gear can improve circulation, reduce inflammation, and speed recovery? It can also enhance your performance and diminish the suffering after an incredible run or workout. That's why I want you to check out my favorite compression gear, Leo Rivet. The streamlined designs look sharp, feel great, and come in gorgeous colors, like magenta sky, Arctic white, graphite, and fern purple. They've got a sizey women's collection and a ginormous collection for men. From ankle length and capri tights to compression tanks and tees, arm sleeves, and more. It'll make the perfect holiday gift for your favorite athlete or New Year's gift for yourself. And my favorite part? It's all designed and made in America. Visit leorivet.com and do some serious shopping. That's LEOREVER.com. Soothe your body in structured support while looking and feeling your best. We're back. You've run how many marathons?
Let's see, like sanctioned marathons, like not just the distance. Now with the 7, I'm at to 126 marathons. So it's not like I just jumped into it, like not ready. My body knows this distance. My body has done this a lot. So definitely staying for it.
And a marathon to you is child's play. And I know you wouldn't disrespect the marathon by saying that, but you're ultra. So tell everybody about your biggest distances, your biggest accomplishments as far as ultra running.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I actually just this year did my first 250. And so that was a very wild experience to go from a 100-miler to the 200, 250. I did 2 of those this year. And so, my body knows the distance. It was actually, they were both I was sick on both of them. So it's hard for me to be like, I loved it. It was because I was sick. So I didn't know what I was capable of. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm not ready to do another 200 because I didn't like walking. But if I was healthy, would I be actually running more than I would have? So that was really hard for me to be like, I loved it. You know what I mean? So yeah, first one, I was really sick going into it. Like for 5 days, I had been just over the toilet, all of this stuff for 5 days. And then I decided to still do it because I'm not the smartest person out. I probably should have pulled the plug right before and been like, it's not what in the cards. But you did all that training. You put in all of that effort. It's hard to actually be like, I'm not going to do it and make that smart decision. But I flat out know I should not have done that because it sunk me into a big hole this spring without being an athlete is hard. I think the hardest thing sometimes is to be smart about making those decisions. And that's one of the hardest things, isn't just to keep going. It's to be like, no, I need to pull the plug and stop. And so I was able to do both of those, and I've done several 100-milers in the last couple years. My background is more like long course triathlon, so like that Ironman distance. That's really what tapped me into the ultra world, feeling pretty strong, having that strong base going from that to 100-miler. Didn't seem like much of a difference on my body. So I've been doing it for a lot of years with high miles. So feel blessed that my body's been strong throughout.
And would you consider winning Badwater 2 times and obliterating the records there and beating the men? Is that your cherry on top? Is that your biggest accomplishment?
I think it has been so far, like that one for sure. Last year, being able to actually beat the boys and get such a solid chunk off of my previous record was huge for me. I was in amazing shape for that and worked really hard for that one. So definitely one that I'm excited to share with people. But then at the same time, you don't want to feel like you're bragging. But it was really an exciting day.
If I did that, I would brag forever, especially because you dealt with pretty high drama after your first. And if people don't know, they accused Ashley of cheating. She kind of came out of nowhere, and I remember reading articles. And even though I'd I had already known you and love you from our connection at LA Marathon.
Yes.
We didn't connect you to the person they were accused of cheating. And so I was reading all those articles thinking, I don't know this person. Did she cheat? I mean, I was doing all the research, and then, the race director thankfully came out very vehemently protecting you and saying, no, there's no evidence that she cheated. But the fact that you took all of that after working so hard and winning fair and square, having the drama, and then you came back, doubled down, and beat the hell out of absolutely everybody while all eyes were peeled on you the whole time. I just thought it was magnificent. What a story of redemption and really victory in your face.
Yeah, definitely one of those that I was just like, oh, because I was nervous to do the event. I knew what I had done the year before and I had not cheated. I knew that like I didn't necessarily need to go out and like show people, but I'm like, what if I do have a really bad day? And then it's going to be like, I told you so. And that was my biggest fear going into Badwater last year was like, I told you so. And for the fact that everything lined up like so great. Yes, I had some like challenges. Of course it was hard. Absolutely. But to be able to go in and be able to like not just do better than I did the last year, but like so much better was just like such a relief too for not just me, but for everyone that was defending my name the year before. And just like you, there was so many people that they didn't know who I was. I mean, you knew who I was, but like in your mind, you're like, well, did she? People can't help it. They can't help but be like, why would I be reading this if there wasn't some sort of truth to it? Why would somebody just make this up? And so automatically people are like, well, yeah, I guess she cheated because nobody's just going to make that up. But it was just somewhere out of the blue. The fact that I'm a girl and I was able to like smash these records on the hill climbs. That's what blew people's mind from the year before. And they're like, there's no way she could have done it. So clearly she jumped in a car or had a doppelganger or all of the things that you read about that they accused me of cheating. So it was definitely a good day.
Yeah, domination was the way to shut people up. Did you have people apologize to you?
I did.
Good.
I did actually. And so there were some big names that were coming after me in the ultra world, and it was hurtful. It caused me to cry plenty of times just because I knew I didn't do it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Right. And yeah, there was some good apologies for sure. But then of course there's still some that they're never going to believe it, and that's okay. I'm not going to twist somebody's arm or try to show everybody my data again and again when they've clearly made up their mind, and you can't have everyone's love and support. And also I'll just appreciate the support of the people that I have. So just cherish that.
I agree wholeheartedly. In fact, my stance is if 50% of the people like me, that's fine. I just can't.
Right. And that's a big number. But I mean, could you imagine that 20 years ago? I don't know how old you are, but like I remember my 20s. I was like, why doesn't everybody like me? Why can't I? And then you try to like change little things, or I would anyway. Sorry, I'm speaking in place of I. And it's okay. I'm not for everybody. I'm not, and that's okay. But they're in my mind. I'm like, it's their loss. I'm pretty fun. I'm fun to be around.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I remember when I started teaching fitness, I was about 15 and my style is loud and boisterous and high energy. And not everybody wants that. They want to come and kind of chill out and exercise. I get it. So then that was when I was probably 15 when I learned that, okay, if you can get 50%. And
that's a great age to learn. 15?
No.
Yeah. So what caused that? Like what hit it? Just kind of like, you know what? Realizing, because that's a young age. That's a really insecure age for me. So that's amazing. And you found it early.
I certainly did have insecurities, but I don't know. I think fitness was just, I was meant for it and it was meant for me. And I was able to have some really good epiphanies because I still cared about the people who didn't want to take my particular class. I was like, okay, go do a class. It's not, this is your workout. It's not about me. It's about you. So if you want to go with someone who's a little older or quieter or whatever, go do that. Go do that. I want to root for you still. So I'm rooting for everybody, even if they hate my guts.
Yep, I love that. That's what we just got to keep on doing. Just shine our bright, our light, and don't let anybody dull it. Because
Yeah.
who we are is. Yeah, I hope I never change in that area. I want to just continue being loud and crazy. That's me, and that's you too. So not everyone
So,
knows that.
so I was telling my son about you before we got on together, and I was bragging about you, and I just said,
Aw.
Parker, deal. She runs so far, and the whole freaking time she's got her knees up high. She's bouncing across these mountains, and she's got this big freaking smile, and it's just got to make some people hate her guts. Because how do you get to mile 112 and still be like, hooray, this is the best time ever? But I just love cheering for you. I love watching your posts. And if anybody's not following Ashley on Instagram, you got to. It's Ash Kickin, ASH Kick N. And you're just so fun, and you're delightful and fun to watch you enjoy these seemingly torturous endurance events.
Definitely. I mean, the smile sometimes it's there as gratitude, not because it's not because it doesn't hurt. Because I'm uncomfortable, but it's also one of those things that I'm so grateful to be able to do. And it's not going to make it any better if I'm not having that smile on my face. So you might as well put that smile on your face. Really, it does trick your mind. It's proven to trick your mind if you put that smile on your face. And so that's always been my thing. Like, smile, you'll run faster, or anything with a smile. Life is just better that way. So thank you for noticing.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. I'm a joy addict, and when I see it in other people, it pleases me. I wish everybody
I
felt
feel that
that.
from you.
Same thing. Okay, so folks, if you'd like to go back in the Fitzness Show episodes, is it about a year ago I had you on my show?
It was after my second Badwater, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think you had me on like earlier on, so like even last August, because it was pretty soon after Badwater. I remember.
Okay. So folks, go listen to that. That's another great episode, and Ashley gets really into the nitty gritty weeds on her Badwater races and other marathons. But let's talk about your World Marathon Challenge. And so you're on the fancy plane, you have anything you want and everything you need, because holy hell, what an undertaking. And now let me ask you, you've run much further than 7 marathons in one sitting. So when you were signing up for this, was it intimidating, or were you thinking, yeah, I got that, no big deal?
I think there's never a no big deal ever, even when I'm signing up for one marathon, because I know how many things can happen, and I always have different goals. Sometimes it is as a training run, other times it's like as a time goal. And so those are the things that I always want to keep myself a little nervous of my goal. I want to be a little scared, being like, as I'm going in. And so yes, there was definitely those nerves, because I'm like, hey, physically, sure, something can happen, but I'm pretty sure I can do this distance. I know I can do this distance, but what can make it more scary? And that's having a time goal and the unknown of like the flying and the altitude that we're doing, the time changes, and how is that going to affect my marathon? So there was never a time that I was like, I got this. And it's Antarctica. What are you going to expect there? Are you going to get wind? Are you going to get all of that is going to play a role on how you finish that day. So I kind of did have a time goal on all of those marathons except for Antarctica, because that one was so much of an unknown. And I'd read so many things, like the fastest woman there had run like a 3:40 something. And I was like, okay, that's the fastest ever. So I've got to like set my expectations like reasonably for that. But also, I'm like, what's the fastest for all 7? I'd love to see if I can do that. And so I put that goal out in front of me, like, hey, I want to make sure it's attainable, but scary. And that was scary for me, trying to go after the record for the fastest of all 7 for a female in all 7 days. Okay. So that was my goal. That was the goal. And that goal was a 3:23 average or something like that. And so I was like, it's totally doable, but is it? Because of the travel, how am I going to wake up and feel super heavy or jet lag, all of the things. So definitely was scared with that one, without going after a record,
Okay, so here's another question I and many other people have. It's got to be really expensive. I've heard numbers. Some people have the cash in their bank. Some people get sponsors. Some people fundraise. So What did that look like for you?
That was something I actually reached out to the company I work for, iFit. I reached out to them and I was like, listen, I've got this great idea. And I thought that it was going to be shut down like so fast. And I was like, this is my goal. This is what I want to get. But along the way, I could just be, advertising and I'll wear your logo, trying to like make it as big as I could in their mind because it is a big number. It's a big chunk of money to run. And mainly because of Antarctica. Getting to Antarctica alone is about $25,000
Per person?
running or not. Yes. So if you just want to go to Antarctica, that flight, just the flight is like $25,000 to get a plane right out there. And so that puts in a big chunk. And then along with all of the other flights, chartering the plane. So it's like 50, 60 grand. I can't remember what it is in because they are a different currency. And iFit said yes. They're like, within like a day. And I legit got the email and I go out screaming in my kitchen. I'm like, I get to freaking go across the world. Like, this is something I wanted to do for so many years and do what I love on every continent. And so I actually was just like, I'm not going to believe it until it actually happens because it's huge. And then they ended up paying the fee. And I'm like, this is really happening. I get to really do this. So definitely people that did pay out of their pocket and it's no big deal. People doing it for charity and trying to fundraise. And so many walks of life in those like 50 athletes that were there, from just insanely like, oh my gosh, is this your jet, Rich?
Wow.
To just the person that's actually never even ran a marathon.
Really?
Which is wild. They did their very first marathon and then they did a back to back more. Wow. So there was an 18-year-old boy there. He earned every penny of that trip. He earned it. He saved up for years and he invested. I don't even know everything about his story, but I was like, holy crap, you're 18 and this is your dedication and what you're going to spend money on. Can I set you up with my 17-year-old daughter?
Good idea. Well, I was just thinking that kid's going to be CEO one day. That kid's going to be like a millionaire, billionaire status for sure. If he can do
that type of mindset and to be able to, it wasn't like his family's crazy wealthy or he was. He saved and he worked his butt off to get there and he did it. He was able to finish all 7.
Okay. So since iFit was so nice to take care of you, give them a 30-second commercial. Tell us about how cool iFit is.
Let's see. Make sure my hair's good. If they're good. No, I'm just kidding. So iFit, what it is, that's my job. It is actually, I am one of the trainers that's on your Proform, your Nordic track, your free motion, and I'm guiding you through workouts. We go all over the world and we're able to do like POV style workouts. We also have studio, but that's what we're really known for. So say you're coming with me, you turn on Mount Fuji. You want to come join me in Mount Fuji. You're going to see Mount Fuji. There's an athlete that's following me as I'm going up Mount Fuji and I'm guiding you through a workout, but you're also seeing it and you're feeling the change. As I get higher, so did your treadmill. As I pick up my pace, so did your treadmill. So it's kind of like one of those things that you feel like you're there and I want you to feel like we're friends. And, but I'm the only one talking, of course.
Right.
Unfortunately. But yeah, it's one of those things that's been a game changer for a lot of people that want to travel and can't, or that just would love to have like the guesswork taken out. And so we're able to guide them through the workouts. There's all sorts of trainings on there, 5Ks up to a marathon. Or if you just want like you're one and done. And so that's what I do for a living. It's pretty incredible to be able to travel the world and to bring it back to people's home and they're able to sweat and move, whether it's on the bike or treadmill or a rower.
Wow, I love it. And one of the things that drives me crazy is when people call it the treadmill, because I think, oh my gosh, it's the perfect excuse buster. You can do it indoors. You don't have to worry about the weather, whether it's safe. It's there when your baby can nap at your side. It's everything. I own a treadmill. It's my favorite piece of equipment. And to have you run along with people makes it anything but a treadmill. So yay.
Great. Yeah. Yay. I love it. Cause I used to be one of those people. I was not a fan. I'm like, you're not really a runner if you're on the treadmill, until it was actually almost forced on me. And I was like, what have I been missing out on? Yeah. I can just like set my pace and forget it. Or I could just put on a movie, or I can have all my fuel here. I can have that perfect incline that I need. So I actually utilize a treadmill not just because it's my job. I use it so much in my training. And I feel that's been an amazing, incredible tool that's helped me get to where I am for sure. So
Absolutely. I actually used a treadmill to train for Boston because I ended up with heat exhaustion training June in Florida. I did the October and I thought, I'm just not doing that again. I'm not putting myself at risk for heat exhaustion or worse heat stroke. So I got on the treadmill. I watched Outer Banks.
Right? You can binge watch things and you don't even, feel as guilty because you're just like, I was getting my sweat on the whole time. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So good. Okay. So your first stop is Antarctica. Tell us about that.
Okay, so I was so nervous for it because I am a sun girl. I love the heat. I feel like my body shuts down in the cold. So I was really nervous for it. And of course, reading all of the things like, okay, you sweat there. It's not just like you're gonna get cold. It's like you sweat, you die. And I'm all, you sweat, you die? Like, obviously people are making it like really dramatic but you don't know what to expect because once you start sweating and then if you turn one way and you've got this wind coming at you, it's going to freeze and then you're going to freeze and I'm going to freaking die. So that one was probably the most nerve-wracking, but also the most exciting because it was so much of the unknown. And when we landed, and we getting off that plane, it was 3 degrees Fahrenheit. So, which sounds wild, right? But that's actually a nice warm day in Antarctica. We landed in Wolfgang, Antarctica, and people think it's just like labs and like all this stuff there, but they actually had a lot of tents set up around there. They had little, I wish it was igloos because that would have been really, really cool to like record going into an igloo, but it wasn't. Yeah. But yeah, stepped off the plane, it's 3 degrees and just crisp, clear day. So clear, very little wind. So we got so blessed in that. They had just churred up, like what they do is like chur up the runway, their road, their ice path,
right?
And they chur that up so that we are able to run on it without slipping. But they're like, do not run off of where we have churred up. You'll see each side, it looks like just like a white road, but then on each side, it's like a beautiful blue glass. It's insane. They're like, you step on that, you're going to slip, and then you're going to end up back in the airplane and you're done with your race because you're going to slide so fast. So they made it very clear where to go and where not to go. And so it was a very clear path where we were and a clear day. I actually wore my road shoes to run it. Yeah, I was thinking I'd have to have like crampons. I brought 3 different pairs of shoes just for Antarctica because I didn't know. And, as I should have, because he even said, like, if there's something that moves in, you're going to want to have your trail shoes. But he did, in our email, the race director said, most people can run it in their road shoes if we get a good day. And we got a really good day. And I just wore my road shoes, no spikes or anything. So.
And did you have a full 26.2 mile path or was it loops?
It was loops. So originally we had a 2-looped course, but we had our race meeting, the race briefing, as just any race does. Typically with like a big race, they'll do that. And it was like 4 p.m. and we're meeting in South Africa, going over all the things. And they're like, and guess what? We thought we all had another day and a half before we were flying out. They're like, guess what? We've got a storm moving in. So everyone be here at 5 a.m. because we're taking off and we're running tomorrow instead. We're all like, wait, what? Even though we're ready, it was, having an extra 24 hours we thought we had. And mentally everyone's like, whoa. But so that kind of threw in a little bit of a curve for everyone. So he had to adjust every single course. I felt so bad for the race director because, gosh, you know how races are. They're insane. And so recreating every single course so that he could still make it in that 7 days and different continents. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine. So it ended up being a 4-loop course that we did. So able to run around this little area. Like there was some turns and stuff in there, but it all looked the same, just white.
Just white.
Of course. Yeah. Like you see off in the distance, like big old mountains with like raggedy ridges, and it was gorgeous. So coming from me, this is a big deal that I really actually loved Antarctica. I loved it.
I imagine.
Had it been windy, I would have been screaming a different tune, that's for sure.
I'm glad you had a perfect day. Did you see any wildlife?
No, just a lot of wild runners.
Okay. All right. Well, thumbs down on that. And then, so I'm guessing there's not a big race announcer at the start line doing the big hoopla. Is it an air horn and a How does the start and finish line go for these races?
Yeah, it's the race director. He just kind of lines you up and does a countdown pretty quick because we've obviously got to be on a tight schedule and it's a quick turnaround. We had from the time we landed, from the time that we took off, we had to be off of Antarctica within 8 hours. So get off the airplane, everyone kind of do their potty, set things up, and then he's like, line up, let's go. Because some people were planning on taking every bit of time that they could to get these done. Because, every race has people that want to run it really hard and they're just others that are like, hey, I'm going to walk this and get it done. And so, they needed every moment that they could. So he lined us up and he's like, and you're off. And we're like, whoa, okay, here we go. We're starting.
Okay. So you
definitely different.
What was your time? Did you beat the 3 hour and 40-minute record in Antarctica?
I did actually. I actually was able to break the record and be the first female there. So I now hold the world record for Antarctica for the fastest marathon, which I was really excited about. It was something that I just had. It's funny because I hold the record for Badwater, the hottest race, and now I hold it for like the coldest place. But now I need it for the 100-miler instead of just the marathon. But I thought that was a kind of a fun thing. I'm like, oh, I can do both, You put your mind to something and you can get both. And so I did a 3 hours and 18 minutes in Antarctica.
So you destroyed the record, which is incredible, Ashley. And I'd like to remind everybody, one of your proudest accomplishments I see lately is being a grandmother.
Yes, I've got my little grandbaby, Kova. She's my little chunk. Yeah, so it's fun to be a grandma.
Yeah. And you're the queen of no excuses. All the people who hit 40 and are like, I'm too old. Screw that. Go to Antarctica and break a world record for a marathon.
For real. You want it bad enough, you can make it happen. And you just have to stay consistent. It's not like I'm anything special. I mean, I just am consistent and I've got wild goals. But consistency would, like, if people can just stick with something, they'd be amazed what they can do as well. I wasn't born like this. It's just showing up time again.
Yeah, I agree. I tell people because they're like, you can do this. I'm like, there's no Marvel in me. I didn't get bit by a spider. I just have some decisions to make and I follow through. And so you are very special now. You are.
No, thank you. I feel special, but I'm meaning I wasn't like born this way. I love how you put it. There's no Marvel in me. Mm-hmm. I love that's so cute. Because it's true. Consistency is going to trump like talent any day of the week. So you want it, you go for it.
Determination. Okay, so you finish up and you're one of the quickies. So you get on the plane. Is it leisurely? Are you cramping up? Are you feeling good, ready to get to second location?
So we actually went into just like a little heated tent area for a few hours. We all needed to board the plane pretty much at the same time, even though they kept the engine running. So all the athletes that had finished, we'd all trickle in and get our food, and they did have massage. I didn't do any of like the massage because the line was just crazy long by the time I thought like, oh, you should do that. And then I just was like, oh, fine. I'm fine. But I felt really good. I ran at a very comfortable pace that I didn't feel like, okay, I'm going to be sore for this, or I'm going to I overdid it today just to get that record. Or I felt really, really comfortable and confident to go into the next day feeling pretty fresh. So we were able to get in the plane after about 7.5 hours. We start loading in and just off to the next place, off to South Africa is where our next location was. That was a 5-hour flight. So not super bad. Okay. But not like super short either, but getting up, getting ready for South Africa, I didn't feel any tightness or anything, or even like really fatigued, just more excitement of like, okay, we're going from really cold to really hot now. And so excited that I was like, oh yay, back into short shorts and a tank top.
So did you sleep on the plane?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay.
This is one that I actually slept on the way out to Antarctica. And then on the way back, I was able to fall asleep a little bit as well, because we had to get up at such a wild time to even get on the plane heading out. We were all pretty tired. So.
All right. So tell us about South Africa.
So South Africa was I was really looking forward to that one because my husband, Maddie, was there. He flew out with me to South Africa, and that's where the race briefing was. And so we just kept the same hotel. Then, of course, Antarctica, then right back to the same location. So he was there waiting. And of course, he was just so excited to hear how Antarctica was and see all the footage and stuff. And so that one was a 6-loop course. Everything was loops.
Okay.
Which I love loops. Some people think they're going to go crazy with loops, but for me, it means I get to see people more. More
Nice.
people, the better for me. So yeah, so that was a 6-loop course out there just along the ocean, the little walk area, and gorgeous, a super gorgeous course and flat. There was no hills in any of the races. I don't think, maybe just a little bump is the gist of our hill work. And yeah, so flat, and not much wind, just nice and perfect weather, I thought, for running. So not too hot, not too cold. And then I got to see Maddie there every few loops. So that one was a really fun one. It was a kind of cool because there was a group of women that were about my same speed.
Okay.
That were all running. And, they came in with me like at Antarctica. One was like just a few minutes back. The other one was a few minutes behind her. So like pretty same speed, which was, really cool. And so they all smashed the record too, which
Nice.
is amazing. That I think they had four of the females break the previous record, which is really fun to see, like all these strong women go out there. And this one, we're like, hey, it's race number 2. We have got so many more to go. Let's not do anything crazy. And we were so close within each other the day before. We're like, let's just stick together on this. And we decided that pretty much right away. And we're like, hey, are you down? Are you down? Because like, what's another minute or two off of that time? And so like we're just running. And I was a chapstick girl. I had it in my bra. They like, hey, chapstick, and pass it around the line. And then they bring it back. And then another person would go grab water and pass it along. So like, if we all were going to get sick, we were all going to get sick.
Nice.
Because we all had this sick. We could not be a germ phobe on that at all. So we were able to do that. All 5 women and then 2 men. We all stayed together pretty much the entire time. Like if somebody needed to go to the bathroom, we'd pull it back to like a 9-minute pace so that they could go to the bathroom and catch right back up to us. And then we pick it up again. It was really cool to see like these were elite women. And we're all competitive, but just being like out there, just rooting for each other, being like, no, I don't need to win this today. I don't need to see this specific time, but together we can run stronger. So together, let's do this thing. And we all finished holding hands and just crossing our hands. It was really, really special. Like, if you haven't seen those videos, if you haven't been following or whatever, there's so many actually more on my TikTok. I didn't post a lot on my Instagram because it was hard to post so much, but really cool pictures of, Olympic athletes that, that have gold medals and stuff. And they're finishing with just little old me that just wants to stay together because we can chat and have fun. And we had such a better experience, I think, being together than, 30 seconds between each other. So
a couple questions. What was the breakdown of male to female for the 50 athletes?
It was pretty equal. There was, I think, 20 women, 22, and then 30 men, I believe. There's like 50 of us total. So there's quite a bit of women. It was great.
And then by the time you were at race number 2, had everybody completed both marathons?
Some people did pull down to the half marathon because they do have a half marathon option. And they're like, yeah, this isn't going to happen. So they pulled down to the half. So it's great that they had that option.
I did not know there was a half marathon option, which is still awesome, way more doable.
Exactly. And that's where, like, there was, I think, 2 people that signed up for that originally that was like, I just really want to go around the world and like not hurt so bad. And they're like, could I have done it? Sure. But I want to like not hurt so bad. So they decided to do that right away. And then others that were like 7 of these marathons, that's going to be too much. And I wouldn't be having fun anymore or end up injured or all of those things. So yeah, they had the half marathon option as well, which I thought was really cool.
Okay. And the last question is, you mentioned some of the other athletes. Is anyone notable that most folks would know of?
Oh, let's see. I don't know if you know Jenny Simpson.
Yeah.
He is an Olympic athlete, like for the mile and half mile, I believe. And she actually just retired in New York. It was only her 2nd marathon. So 2 weeks before, she announces, I'm done running. I'm done. And the world race actually reached out to her. And they're like, we know you just said you retired.
That's hilarious.
But come run with us. And she's like, okay. So she was able to be out there. And so just totally last minute.
Okay.
I think she had like 2 or 3 days notice to get to Cape Town, and she decided to do it. So it was really fun because she was just a joy to be around, and then all of her accomplishments, it's just like, wow, insane. And let's see, Bex Gentry, she's actually a Peloton instructor. There are a lot of people that do Peloton. She's their favorite runner, which was really fun to have the little bit of rivalry between our brands, because iFit and Peloton, they're rivals. But Bex and I are like, we're just friends. Like, we don't need to be competing against each other, even though our businesses are. But it was fun to have, like, you know, the Peloton people cheering for her and the iFit people cheering for me. So let's see. And then of note, any other women? Shireen, she's an Olympic athlete, but for another country. And the other one, actually, she's just Hillary. She's the one that actually won the whole thing. She's just kind of came out of nowhere and smashed it. So
really, what's Hillary's last name?
Hillary, I love you. I love you. I can't remember your last name though.
That's okay. I do that. I do that all the time, Ashley. Trust me.
Like.
And what about men? Were there any notable guys?
Yes. Okay. The one that he was just tearing it up. His name is Will, and he's not a sponsored athlete or anything. He's just from Ireland. He's actually a smoker. Ooh. And he went out and smashed Antarctica's record. He did like a 2:30 something. Isn't
that crazy?
Insane. And then David, oh my God, what's his last name? I feel bad that I don't know last names. I'm sorry, but he's actually the one that won it last year. And sorry, I should have got last names for you.
That's okay. You know, I do that all the time. Sometimes when you meet so many people, it just becomes
exactly
that soup in your head. So trust me, you will apologize. And you know what's so interesting? I do ballroom dancing now. My instructor smokes like a chimney. I love him so much, but between dance breaks, between clients, he's out there smoking.
Right? I don't know, but hey, I mean, I was like, wild. He used to do your thing, and he is rocking his running thing. So it's like,
wild.
If he'd stop and he got better from that, holy mackerel. I mean, he did a 2:30 something in Antarctica.
Superhuman.
Smashed the record, smashed it. So he was really, really incredible. So those were the no other pro men out there.
Okay. So you leave South Africa. How are you feeling when you leave? And how do you feel when you land in the next place? Where are you going?
Okay. So I get done with South Africa. Yes. And I'm, hugging Maddie, my husband, and he tells me that the race director told him that if he wanted to come out and help for the rest of them, he could. So he was just going to fly out to Miami. And so now he was kind of just like a volunteer, but he's like 1,000%. Are you kidding me? Because they had so many curveballs thrown at him with it jumping up a day that like, we could actually really use your help. So it was such a gift to be able to have Maddie come with me the rest of the way. And Matt is just like, some people can't race with their husband, like at him as them as sport crew, because they see you hurt or whatever. Your significant other might have like a hard effect on you and be like, they can't see their significant other hurt. But Maddie's seen me hurt quite a bit, and he's a great supporter. So that was that was a little special. The next place we went off to was Perth, Australia. So Australia is somewhere I've always wanted to go. So it was a dream to be able to go and do what I love. And Perth was gorgeous. So pretty. Have you ever been out to Australia?
I have not.
Okay, first time for me too. So I'm just like, nobody needed a name there. I just called everybody mate. It was great.
Mates? Okay.
And so that one once again was a 6 loop course, I think. No, that was actually more. That was 12.
Wow.
Because it had to, So a lot of out and backs. And but we were along this walkway and then the river beside us. And there's like beautiful bridges, like, and not just bridges that are like pretty cool. They've got like lights, like colorful, like almost like Christmas lights streaming through them. It was insane. Each way you went was just gorgeous, but it was really, really windy. And
was this nighttime or morning? What time of day was it?
We were late, running late. Everything was running late, or, that was, so I think we started around like 6. So it got dark pretty fast, but it was pretty well lit. So we didn't need like headlamps or anything. It was pretty well lit. And by the time we were done, it was just like the bridges were unreal. Like, and that's once again, there's some videos on my Instagram on that, just like the gorgeous bridges, like streaming through the lights. I'm like, oh, I love bridges. So, and yeah, we got a windy day. So we're like, okay, Mother Nature's coming out to play. One way she's pushing you, and one way she's trying to hold you back with all of her might. So that one was really fun. There was a huge group of like iFit members that showed up, which was fun. They had like their little iFit flag, and so it's fun to just be like, oh, there's people that are watching, and you know, not just on live stream, but they showed up and drove a lot of hours to come support. So it really meant a lot that they were there. And then I was able to see them so much too, because it was so many laps.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
It was pretty fun. And the girls, the four of us actually decided to stick together once again because the wind was so strong. We're like, hey, if we stay in a cluster and just kind of draft off of each other. So we alternated each lap. So we'd get a lap down, like an out and back, and then the next person would switch and take the lead, out and back, so that each one of us is trying to like break the wind. We knew that every other lap it was going to be a harder one, but then we got a little bit of a break checking in. So it was teamwork once again. Like, I get chills thinking about it because it was so much fun, and just what it's about. The spirit of running is just wanting everyone to succeed, wanting everyone to finish and have a better time. And you know, the saying, you can go alone fast, but you know, if you how does that saying go? Alone you can go fast, but together we can go far, or something like that.
Right, or all the way, or whatever, something like that.
I'm botching it. I'm botching these things, but it was so true because I feel like we all would have been a little bit slower on that race because we wouldn't have had each other's energy, and then it would have taken more energy because we're pushing against Mother Nature the whole time. And so that one, I think we finished in like a 3:02 or something like that.
Spectacular.
And so we were just kind of getting faster. Our second one was a 3:15 and third was a 3:02, and yeah, just stuck together hand in hand as we crossed that finish line, just like trying to be like, you know, support each other, stop all this like backstabbing with women. And it's pretty sad to some of the people you hear.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up because I get mean girled on the regular. I've been mean girled by so many in the running industry. Have you been mean girled?
Right?
Yeah. I'm no stranger to getting mean girls. What about you?
Oh, I'm no stranger. They're like, oh, she's so fake. She's so this, because I'm happy. And I'm like, this is actually who I am.
Right.
But then to my face, it's like, oh my gosh, Ashley. And I'm like, no, let's just know.
Yeah.
I'd rather have you on that other 50% and just know my people and be true to, and that's how these girls felt right away, that they were just genuinely like supporting and cheering for us. And it's just like, there's no point. For one, we're in race 3. Let's stick together. We still have 4 more of these bad boys to go. So it was amazing. It was really good.
I love that. You know, it's funny in a race, really like one person wins type thing, but I always feel in the real world and in business, we can all win. There's a place for everybody type thing. And yeah, sometimes it's just hostility. Right. I don't know why.
And that, and like a little bit of jealousy, I feel. Probably. Instead of being happy for somebody's successes, they kind of feel that little like jealousy, and then they have to turn it to make them be like, oh, well, she's fake, so it doesn't matter that she won because she's fake, or you know, stuff like that. It's like a little bit of jealousy that sneaks in, unfortunately. And it's great to be excited for somebody's successes and to admire them, but like let's just not with the jealousy. There's hard work, there's so much that could go into this, that just cheer each other on and be kind.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's funny, sometimes I have quite a few female race directors, and what I found is when they're nice and they're legitimately supportive and collaborative and stuff, I end up thinking, wow, like my epic races in Michigan and my Donna race director and Gasparilla race director, sometimes I think, wow, she's really nice to me, how fortunate. And then I think, oh my gosh, how screwed up is that I am so grateful because they are wonderful, incredible women, but I'm surprised that they're so nice sometimes, because I think, oh, you're a woman, you're supposed to be cranky with me. So yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I were the only one getting it. I'm sorry you do too, but
yep. It's unfortunate, but hey,
Mhm.
we got each other. And so you just cling on to the ones that support each other and hold that tight.
Yeah. And then love everybody as much as you can. And if they're going to be helpful to you, they're going to be pretty, I don't know. I hopefully if somebody talks bad about me, the others might raise an eyebrow and think, really, Fitzcoler's pretty nice, you know?
And that's what I can only hope is that somebody's gonna be like, wait, why would you say that? Like, don't talk like that. Cause that's something that I would hope to do for somebody else if I hear that stuff. So
Yes.
gotta keep looking out.
Absolutely. Okay. So you finished marathon number 3 in epic time. And how are you feeling? And how do you feel going into the next race?
Feeling pretty good. My stomach has been cooperative with all 3 of these races. I'm known like if I get GI issues, I get GI issues, but it was actually the other girls, not me. I was like blown away. That was my biggest fear, I think, is in Antarctica. What if I need to go to the bathroom? Like, you can't.
No.
You can't. And so far my stomach has been really good. My legs have felt really good. There was a little bit of just like tiredness, but not anything that I'm like, okay, I feel like I've been pretty smart about my paces and my fueling. I had all of my fueling set per race beforehand. So I didn't have to think about it like, okay, I need 1 gel for this. I need this at this time. I had it all set up before going into it. I packed that at home in its own little baggie. Like, hey, this is for race 1. This is for race 2. So I could just kind of grab that bag and forget anything else, not be like, what did I miss for this race? That made it just kind of like easy, not have to think about all of that. Just get it done before I left. And so I feel like my fueling, all my calories were really good. My energy levels were good. Sure, I'm feeling a little tired. Our sleep schedule was ski-wampus, but I knew that going into it. I'm like, hey, if I get sleep, it's a bonus. I couldn't go into be like, hey, this night we're traveling for 12 hours. I want 8 hours of sleep during that time. You don't know how you're going to fly.
Okay.
And so I just kind of went into it knowing that sleep was going to be minimal and it's just a bonus when it happens. So feeling really good, feeling really strong, and feeling like I can go do it again.
Well, especially if being someone who runs 250 miles in a row, you're no stranger to sleepless running. So
Exactly.
it benefits you, right?
I feel like it did for sure. Like that was my biggest question, I think, was like the jet lag. How did you deal with jet lag? I'm like, you just don't think about it. You don't think about what time. I've ran every hour of every day, like through races. And so it's not like I can only run in the morning or I can only run in the afternoon. My body knows all hours of running. So I felt like that helped me quite a bit adjust to everything.
And we will be right back.
Are you looking for the perfect gift for a loved one battling cancer? The Cancer Comeback Series by Fitz offers hope, inspiration, and practical guidance. With Your Healthy Cancer Comeback, My Noisy Cancer Comeback, and The Healthy Cancer Comeback Journal. These books are a lifeline for all patients and survivors. Right now, you can order autographed copies at a special discount. Show your support and help a loved one go from sick to strong. Visit fitzness.com today. That's FITZNESS.com. Fitzness.com.
We're back. Wasn't it the very wise Taylor Swift who once said, jet lag is a choice?
Actually, I don't even know that song, but is it? That's great.
No, yeah, she flew from Tokyo to the Super Bowl to see her boyfriend play, and someone asked, and she said, jet lag is a choice. Now, mind you, she probably is in the nicest personal aircraft on planet Earth.
Maybe not quite Taylor Swift style.
You were Taylor Swift in it, but yeah, I travel a lot, and
I do love that. I love that because it is. It's just like, what is time? It's just you just kind of make it, and this is when we're running, and go with it. So
okay, it's go time. You go. So you get to number 4. Where is number 4? Where are you running?
So we switched it up because of the days. We were supposed to do Asia first, but we ended up going to Europe first, Istanbul, Europe. I don't know why, because they're just across the way from each other, because we stayed in Istanbul, but they switched it up. And that one, it was a night race. And so they recommended having a headlamp and stuff. And then the next one was a morning race because we needed to get those in like crunch time. So those were the tightest of the marathons. So we start getting ready for that run. It's like 9:00 and we get off the bus and we're like, crap, we need to get this going. And the buses take off and it's raining outside. It's cold. It's already dark. And I go to the bathroom real quick because they were going to start in like 5 minutes. run to the bathroom, and then I get out, and Matt's like, "Okay, where's your bag?" And I'm like, "You had my bag. You had my bag." And he's like, "No, I gave you your bag." And I'm like, "No, and my bag." I'm here in Birkenstocks. I'm like,
No.
I need my bag. I'm like, I can use any type of nutrition out there. I can adjust, but I do not want to run in Birkenstocks. I will, mind you, I will. I'm going to get this done. But there was Ashley in panic mode 100%. I was panicking like crap. The buses were gone. And so I'm running from tent to tent being like, did anybody see this bag? And going to the race director, he's like, we're starting in 5 minutes. And I'm like, well, crap, this sucks. But what do you do? This is my bad. This isn't on him. He did end up calling the buses back. And he didn't push the race back for me, but there were some other logistics things. So luckily he's like, okay, we've got a little bit of time. And I'm like, oh, okay. So the buses come back, and I get on the bus, and I'm digging through searching through every seat and asking the bus driver, and he doesn't speak English, but he's like, no bag, no bag. There was no bag. My bag was not on there. And so I had my camera guy, because I had a camera guy from iFit come out. I had him go back and like show me getting off the bus. I'm like, did I have my bag when I got off the bus?
Smart.
I mean, it was only like a 2-minute time difference between I went to the bathroom and Matt saying it. So he shows me, and he's like, okay, you did not have your bag getting off. It's got to be on the bus. But we just looked on the bus and it was not there. And I'm like, I really want my shoes. So I mean, I'm still smiling, but you can feel the stress. Like my eyes probably were just crying. I wasn't crying, but like, I'm like, okay, we need to find this bag. You know, that frozen look of like, holy freak, this is my fault. What did I just mess up my whole experience because I did not grab my bag? And luckily, one of the other women was like, we had a few of them that were digging through their bags to try to find me an extra pair of shoes. Like, I'm a size 9 for my running, and one had a size 8 and one had a size like 10. And I was like, it's better than Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
It's better than Birkenstocks. So I'm putting them on, and this has been about 45 minutes, and they kept pushing the start back. Luckily, not for me either. This was not, they were trying to cater to me. And sweating bullets as it's raining and freezing, but I'm freaking out. And so I'm putting these I think they're size 10 shoes on my feet. I'm like, oh, well, whatever. And Matt comes over like 45 minutes later. He's like, we found your bag. The bus driver had put it like underneath anyway. So luckily they found it, and I was able to run in my shoes. They didn't even start that race until like 2 hours after, but praise be, because I was able to find my shoes and be able to run that marathon in my shoes. So that one was my adrenaline was a little crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I could see that being awful. That's actually my nightmare that I have, is showing up with no shoes or sports bra. That's, if I'm running, those are the things I miss. If I'm announcing, I don't have my music or something like that. So
it's like something, you're like, no, I ought to have my music, and your shoes kind of matter. I've had nightmares like that too, that I show up and not have shoes, or I've got the same shoe on each foot. I'm like, oh, I can't do that anyway.
And then
the nightmare was we got it taken care of, luckily.
And how was the race?
That race was, oh my gosh. Okay, talk about loops. We went along the river that connected Asia and Europe. So on each side, one side was Europe, one side was Asia, and the fishermen are out at night. And this is their bread and butter. This is like what's going to feed their family. They are not going to move. And they did not. So we've got like the fishermen, like their poles, and it was, I think that one was 21 loops as well. Like it was, so maybe, oh my gosh, I got to go look back. I'll show you, maybe that was only 12, because this one we were all like, whoa, 21? We're getting like a kilometer, each. And that one was really dark and rainy and slick. And we had to go up the little ramps and down them. So there was some people that were kind of getting hurt on some of those things, unfortunately, because those little ramps are wicked. And nobody got hooked, though. Nobody got a hook and hooked to the face. And that one was really fun. We were sticking together for the most part until about halfway. Bex and Shireen kind of slowed down a little bit. They needed to go to the bathroom, and I was just cold. I was like, me and Hillary just kept running. And at about mile 24, I believe it was. Is just after midnight, and it happened to be my 24th anniversary at midnight, and my husband was there. And he comes running out, surprising me. He knows he's going to see me a lot. He comes running out, oh my gosh, in a unicorn Speedo, just screaming like, and it's raining, it's pouring, it's freezing cold. He's like, happy anniversary. And, just doing his little silly self. And I couldn't help it. I had to just go give him a big hug and a big kiss. And Hillary turns and she's like, hey, I thought you guys were having your moment. So she just kept going, which was great. So, and that was totally worth it. Give him a nice big hug and kiss and, tell him that I'm grateful he stuck with my crazy self for 24 freaking years. Mm-hmm. And so Hillary ended up winning that one, taking that one solo. And then me and Bex wasn't too far behind me at that point. So I just kind of slowed down and I was like, let's just finish it together again. So her and I finished that one together, just maybe a minute or two after Hillary. So it was fun just because it was my anniversary and I was able to find my shoes. So there's always some highlights in those.
That's right. Big stories. Now, what is the overall feeling of most of the athletes? Are there people that are just suffering at this point?
Definitely. Yes, there's definitely some athletes that were hurting. They actually, the front of the plane, they think there was something in one of their sandwiches or something because they all got food poisoning or something.
Gosh.
There was maybe not all of them, but 10 of them were just puking, not just from working out, but it was pretty bad. And just, it was a death march for them. So I felt super bad. One guy, he's like, I haven't had any calories. That one is the one he was puking before, but so the next day he's like, it's been 40 hours since I've had any calories down. I was like, oh my gosh, but he's still doing it. He's still out there moving. And that's just the mindset. You decide to do something, you stick with it regardless of the pain, the discomfort. And he's like, I know I'll be fine. I just don't like how I'm feeling right now. And I believe this is where there was a lady out there, her name was Bex as well. She's out there in a firefighter suit, complete get up out there. That's an extra 45, 50 pounds on her. Yeah. She did every single one of them.
Wow.
Every single one of them, she had that on there. And just watching her walk and you could see, she had showed me right before this race 4, her back, and it was just chafed. And she's like, would you have anything for this? I was thinking a little chafing, I'm like, yeah, we can put some KT tape over it or something. I was like, oh girl, we need KT tape for your whole entire back.
Wow.
That little, whatever is behind them, it just had rubbed her just so raw. I mean, you can imagine going from Antarctica to the crazy humidity of South Africa. And, and we are on race 4 and her back is just bloody. And so just watching these athletes, so inspiring, watching them just carry on. I get being fast is it's hard work, but I look at people that are out there for 6-7 hours still. And I'm like, oh, that would be so much more on your feet. It's so much more and she's carrying all of this weight. Oh my gosh. So every time we'd be cheering for her. She was just kind of in her zone, but we just go back and try to lighten her load by lifting her spirits a little bit, even though we couldn't take that weight from her, so watching her go through all that was incredible. So incredible.
Wow. Absolutely gritty.
Right. Yeah, that's the best word for it is grit, straight up grit.
So cool. Okay. So you moved to number 5. It's in Asia.
Yes.
And you have to do it very soon after you cross the finish line in Istanbul, correct?
Yes. So we got just a few hours of sleep and then showed up the next morning for that one. And perfect day, clear sky, cooler temps that, it's ideal to run in. And felt my body, I was like, it's going to be really tired. And it was, but I wasn't sore. I didn't feel sore anywhere. I was not feeling any types of pain in my body. And so feeling really happy for that. Okay, almost the less time that we spent was better than having that whole 18-hour flight and then going to run a marathon. I was like, oh, okay. So we show up to the start line and this is race 5. And from what I could see, there's no rain. There's none of these little ups and downs of those little ledges that we had to fight from the day before, or potholes, or fishermen. The fishermen were so nice, but man, it was we were phew, phew, trying to dodge their butts. So yeah, race 5. I started off pretty strong. I couldn't believe how many stray cats there are out there. Oh my gosh, there's kitty cats everywhere.
And
Everywhere.
exactly where were you? You said Asia,
Istanbul.
but
Yeah, it was in Istanbul.
wait, I
Turkey.
thought you were in Istanbul at night.
Istanbul actually is in Asia and Europe. That's
Ah,
why we're able to just split it. I know.
So
You learn something new every day. I did not know this either until I signed up for this race.
so was that only one marathon? Was it 6 marathons in 7 days?
No, because we did Istanbul, Asia side,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
day 5, and then we did Europe side day 4. So we were technically in the same country, but different continents. I don't know how that works,
All right.
but I'm just trusting them that they knew what they were doing and that we were on completely different sides of on different continents, but
You know,
across the river. I'm like, hey, there's Asia, or like there,
so
So,
you just you're giving us a geography lesson too. Thank you, Ashley.
well, you're welcome. I'm just going to put my glasses on because I feel so smart.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Istanbul we got for both.
Okay. Now, I do recall seeing, I believe on Instagram, that you were kind of sore at some point. Was it after race 5 where you seemed a little stiff and you got the massage, or was that 6?
That was 6. Yeah.
Okay.
So no massages up to this point, which is not good, but I was feeling good, and I feel like there was other athletes that like Bex. I'm like, oh my gosh, just take it, like
Sure.
her back. Bex, not Bex Gentry, the other Bex. I don't know her last name.
Firefighter.
The firefighter. There we go, firefighter. So I didn't feel the need for it. I probably should have, looking back, but I get carried away when there's food around. I just forget about a massage.
Oh my gosh.
So no pain up to this point.
Do you, people would probably like to know this since you run so much, do you eat excessively on race day?
I eat a lot like during too. So like my fueling it's not just like before, it's a lot during. I have a couple hundred calories per hour. I try to keep in at least, like 160 to 180, depending on the heat. And to keep that continual like throughout, that I'm not like depleting, and that I'm just keeping that little drip line going through my body. And I feel like over the last, few decades of running crazy stuff like this, especially the last decade, that's what's really kept me injury free, is my fueling. Because once you get tired, because your body starts to getting depleted, you start running a little bit more sloppy. It's not just about keeping your tummy happy. You start to run sloppier because you're not fueled properly or hydrated properly. And so I feel like that's been one thing that I've really done well at the last like decade, is my fueling.
Smart.
So it kept
Smart.
me like 100%, but pretty good.
And is there anything particular you like to enjoy after big race?
Oh man, if it's a hot race, I just want a smoothie. I don't even want food. Like give me a smoothie. But a cold race, I can have anything. Like pizza. I think we had pasta and some pizza and stuff, which I actually don't have typically right before a race. And that was right before race 2, but it tasted so good. I was not going to be like, no. So
Yeah, I bet.
to kind of switch things up. And I love rice and potatoes. I will I had those every single day. Rice and potatoes, starchy carbs.
Okay. My body composition is 67% potato. Very proud.
But I love it. Potatoes. Gotta have them. You gotta.
Mostly potato. Okay. So how was the Asia side of Istanbul?
It was really good. That one, like I said, I was feeling so strong. And we kind of were together, all the girls, for a little while. And within like a few miles, just kind of like, I ended up starting to run with some guy, not meeting to, but like we kind of like got ahead. And then all of a sudden I see one of the girls just take off. And I was like, oh, wow, she's holding a strong pace. Like, let's go. I'm feeling good. So I tried to keep up with her, but she's like busting like 620s. I was like, just kidding. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be doing that right now. It was getting uncomfortable. And yes, uncomfortable is part of it, but I still got a few more races. And so Matt was out there. He's like, don't worry. Like he's like, she won't be able to hold it. I'm like, I don't care if she does. I just want to like maintain what I can, And so I ended up passing her after, 15 miles or so. And then was able to actually break 3 hours in that race, which was really exciting. So I did like I think it was a 3:57, and I felt so good. It was hard, but it wasn't like
57.
oh my gosh, I'm going to be dead tomorrow hard. But I felt good. I was like, woo, like, whoa. When I finished, I'm like, first thing I said was like, that was hard and probably the stupidest thing I've done because I still have 2 more marathons. But it felt so good just to run at, like, that's usually my pace that I run at with my heart rate being around the 130, 135. So it's not like I figured it was going to wreck me. And yeah, still no bathroom breaks, mind you. This is huge for me. Okay.
Impressive.
Yeah. I'm gonna pat my back here because I'm like, whatever I'm eating, it's working because usually I'm the queen of bathroom breaks. So 5 down, and that one was my fastest one yet. So, and felt so good. It was so nice once again to have Maddie there, just to be able to go right to him and give him a big hug and have his support and his love. So that was Istanbul. Those 2 races back to back, super quick. Both of them felt really good, really strong, and I didn't feel like I'd over exceeded anything at this point.
I love it. Now, tell everybody what kind of medals you get after each race.
Oh my gosh. So every medal has like the continent on it with Antarctica, of course, has a cute little penguin, Australia, kangaroo. So cute. So cute. Every continent you're getting a medal. And so now I'm like on medal 5, which is really fun. I mean, who doesn't love a little bling, right? And knowing there's a few more to go. And then there is a ginormous medal for the world's marathon. So you get like all of the little segments on each one, but it's like a platter size medal once you've completed all of them. I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing's going to break my back.
And will you hang that somewhere, or is that one going to get shoved in a drawer like every other medal?
Did I tell you this?
No.
Okay. I'm like, okay. Some people do hang them, and I am one to put them in a drawer, and I feel guilty when I say that because some people are just like, oh, you just take it for granted. I'm like, no, I don't. There's certain things that I'm not going to just display, but these medals, because you get 7 for each continent, and then you get the big one, and then you also get another one for being in, I can't even remember what it's called, the Great World Race thing, like completion. Mm-hmm. So you get a total of 9 medals. And this is the one that my husband was like, you are not putting this in a drawer. This is not going in a drawer. You are displaying this like either out in our gym or whatever. I have a few medals that I display and like special ones. And this is definitely one that is going to need 9 places because it was really, really cool. So like I've got one that I did my daughter's very first marathon. I kept that medal and that one's displayed in my garage. And when I got the Olympic trials, that one is displayed. So there's just certain ones that, because I run a lot of races.
Yeah. Do you ever go out and wear your Badwater buckle on jeans type thing? No, you should do that.
Don't tell Chris Kaufman. He'd probably be sad. He's the race director. He'd be really sad. Okay, I'm in spandex 99.9% of my life.
But you
shorts.
You got to put them on jeans someday and wear it. And
if I wear jeans, I'll do that for you.
Please.
I don't remember the last time I wore jeans.
Wow, get it done one day.
Okay, for you. I'll be like, okay, I've got my belt buckle.
I'm so redneck. This is all I want in life are boots and belt buckles and I don't know.
Yes, I know. Have you done 100 milers?
No.
Or belt buckle? No, don't say it like that because you could.
I have a belt buckle with like an eagle and an American flag or something like that. Then I didn't earn it at all. I went to the boot barn and I got it.
There you go. There you go.
Totally different.
I know. I feel bad that those are special too. They are special. I just have not worn them.
I'm encouraging it. So that's all I'm saying. Okay. So you finished marathon number 5. How you feeling and what's next?
Okay. So feeling really good and off to the plane to head to Colombia. And so Colombia, South America, we're off. It's a long flight and I think it's like 18 hours. Whoa. And that's the one that we didn't even feel them land because they have to land to refuel and then go up. So we land, we felt them land, but that's not what they didn't even tell us to like sit our seats up or anything. They're just like, and refuel. I'm like, did we just hit something in the air? And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're on the ground. So it's crazy how nice it is to fly when I'm laying back. I've got like my compression boots on my legs and I've got like her bringing me whatever food I want and, little stewardess and the trouble was not bad. I didn't feel like it affected, having all of that altitude and stuff. Like, I don't, maybe it did. And I just didn't know. And I was just on cloud nine the whole time, that I'm just like,
Right.
we're all feeling weird and, a little slap happy that too much caffeine, too much carbs. So who knows the feelings that we were feeling, but that was a really long flight out there. And I was sitting next to Bex Gentry. We called them rowmates. We were rowmates. There was a few in the row. So she was my rowmate, and Matt was like two rows back, because obviously he got the last minute little thing. And the race director's like, we just want to keep this camaraderie with these women because it's great. So don't ask her to sit by you, which was totally fine. He didn't care. He's just like, I got to go around the world. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
I get my wife every night. So landing in Colombia, no, it was actually probably an hour before we landed. I get up to go to the bathroom and go brush my teeth, and I stand up, and I could not put any weight on my right side. There's just shooting pain. And I was like, what in the world? Like, can I work something out? What happened here? And I'm using the chairs to kind of like walk back to the bathroom, and I stop at Matt's row, and I'm like, babe, I can't put weight on my right leg. And he's like, what? Because I haven't been injured, like I said, in a lot of years, since 2008 with overuse.
Wow.
So, and it's not like I fell. It's not like I felt anything nagging, like something growing, like, oh, this could, lead to something. There was nothing, no pain. Yes, like I felt tired, but never like anything painful during the last 5 marathons. So I head to the bathroom. I'm like, hey, it's just going to kind of loosen up. And it was just getting worse and worse. The pain was just shooting anytime I'd step on my right side at all in my hip area. And so I do start to like, wow, how am I going to run 2 more marathons like this? I've got 2 more. And was I stupid yesterday to go do that sub 3, always questioning things, but looking at it, like I didn't feel like I was pushing like physically that anaerobic or anything, like getting my form out of control or anything. So I don't regret hitting that sub 3, because I don't feel like that's what it was. I think it was a cumulative of this whole year. I don't even know, because this year's been a lot. And so we land, and I asked the massage therapist to we've still got a few more hours till the race, and they're seeing me walk, and they're like, what in the world? I'm like, I know. Like, they're like, oh, your muscle sore? I'm like, it's not even my muscle. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's just zinging pain. And so one of the guys started to work on me. He's like in the lobby. Everyone had a hotel room, because after that one, we could go to a hotel room and shower. Yeah. And we had like 6 hours of a hotel room, not to sleep overnight, but just to shower and stuff. So everyone goes up to the hotel room. I stayed out in the lobby, and he starts working on my hip, and he's just like doing all sorts of crazy things with it, because there was 0 weight that I could put on it. Matt had to help me get into the hotel room the hotel lobby. I needed a crutch, 1,000%, like nothing. And then this other guy came down and worked on me. He's actually a racer, and he works on biomechanic. Like, that's his area. He's like, let me help too. So both of them were working on my body and like doing these weird stretches, wrapping my leg around my head. And, okay, not so much that, but
right.
Crazy. And probably for about an hour total. I mean, bless the guy, like that was racing, and he still was doing that for me as an athlete. Like, he had his own race to worry about, that he was doing very well. He was hitting an average about like the 320 marker. So he's doing really well for the men. So it's not like he's like, okay, I'm just going to go walk it. He really had a race that he needed to go and try to crush too. And that just was so meaningful to me too, that he would sacrifice.
Selfless. Selfless.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect word for it. Selfless of him to just be willing to do that instead of doing his own stretches or getting his nutrition taken care of. And he's like, listen, I was like, you don't need to do this. And he's like, listen, I know I don't need to do it. He's like, but I know your husband, because he built a relationship with my husband out on the course, because my husband was like just helping everyone. He wasn't just helping me out on the course. He was helping everybody. He's like, I know your husband would not ask me to do this if you didn't really need it. And after about an hour, I stood up and I start limping, and I was like, I don't need to be limping. Oh my gosh, the pain is gone. And I was just scared, because I knew how bad it hurt. And I was like, I'm totally fine. And I was like, it's a miracle. It's a freaking miracle. And so that one was a hot day. It was about 101 degrees outside. And we didn't get started till about 10 o'clock. And it was like, yeah, I think it was like 100 and some, and then the humidity. And so all of the girls were like, hey, yesterday we crushed that race. Let's slow this one down and let's all stay together. We've got one more after this. Let's just stay together. And I was like, beautiful. Let's do it. Like we all decided nobody was going to break off. And even for bathrooms, we slow and we knew it was hot. I love the heat. So I wasn't scared about it because I just was like, oh, this is my area. But I also love the girls more. So I felt great. We did that one. That was our slowest one. It was a 3:30 pace, but we were helping other athletes, getting other athletes water, getting other athletes white ice because they were just going white. They were not used to the heat. In fact, the guy that had been winning every single race, he had done them all within like that 3:30 mark to 3:40. So he's on race 6 on par for another 2:40 marathon, another one, 6 in a row. And he started just like going completely, like he wouldn't even respond to us as we'd go. And we're like, whoa, this is bad. And he ended up, he had 1 lap left. So like less than 2 miles. And he completely called it. He's like, I'm done. Yeah. And he was like smashing the record, smashing. He's like, they're like, just walk it, just walk it. He's like, no, I'm done. Like,
whoa, that's dramatic.
Yeah. So I think he did go to the hospital, but then came back pretty quickly. And he's fine. But yeah, he's just like, I'm not even going to walk it. I'm done. I don't want to do it.
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. Because my mentality, I'd be like, I don't care. I'm crawling.
Right.
But, and that's the thing is like, I love it when athletes can just call it and know when to call it. I'm so stubborn and I just am like, I don't want to. But it was really hard to see some athletes, especially once again, Bex out there with her fire equipment on. And I'm like, she is dying. So we're all just every time getting her ice, getting her whatever she could to get wet. But then it's going to make her equipment heavier.
Right.
So it's like a, double-edged sword there. So that one we stayed together once again going. Oh man, that was my first time. I know you guys don't need to hear potty, but we're runners. But that was my first time needing to go to the bathroom. And that was like kind of one of the most comical bathroom stops ever in the history of ever. Because all of us girls needed to. Like we were all just like, okay. Well, the 3 of us. And so me, Bex, Gentry, and Shireen, I don't know if they're going to care. They won't care because we were responding. They won't care. We were all like, we got to go now. And there's nowhere to go. Like in some of these. So we just kind of like go on a ramp, but it's still completely open. And then Hillary, she's out there just like making sure, it's like, look away, look that way, like making sure she's guiding everyone and where to look. We're just like, this is awful. But we're just laughing about it. We're just like, oh my gosh, well, we're friends for life now, aren't we? So that's like right. All 3 of us just like, this is humiliating. But then we just go on our way. All 3 of us finish at like 3 hours and 30 minutes, hand in hand once again. Oh. So that was race 6, hot. And it was a miracle that my hip did not hurt during. I did take some ibuprofen before, so I'm sure that helped for sure. And I don't usually take ibuprofen. So like I was like, okay, like I felt really good. So I feel like I could have done that one like faster, but it was so much better with the girls. So
wow, you got to pee publicly in a group, which is pretty exciting.
So exciting. I mean, and together, and we are now just potty friends.
That's it. I remember the first time I peed in a bush with my best friend. I was like, oh, I feel like we're closer now. So
you can't help it be closer a little bit, right?
Yeah. But good times. Okay.
Exactly. No, we just laugh about it.
You're 6 down.
6 down. We've got a few hours in Colombia because that night they wanted to do like a group dinner because they knew once Miami hit, everyone was going to kind of scatter. So they're like, we really want to do a group dinner here and then we'll head to Miami because it's a short flight to Miami from Colombia. So we had dinner plans at 7 with the group, but between then we had quite a few hours and me, Bex, Hillary, and Shireen were in the same room. And so we all showered, all that stuff. And they're like, hey, let's go out. And I could start feeling my hip again. I was like, I think I'm just going to rest. And instead of going out, my body, all the muscles felt good, but just I could feel my hip again. So I'm like, I'm going to just lay. And maybe that was a bad idea. I don't know. And so I fell asleep for about 2 hours as they were off, like getting lunch and all that stuff. But then I woke up and my hip was just locked again. It was wild that it didn't even hurt during race 6. So crazy. So I'm like, hey, that's okay. We've got these guys here. They're going to work their voodoo on me again. I'll be fine. I've got one more to go. I could do one more. And so I'm going down to like dinner, like with me and my peg leg, I'm like, I can't walk. I look like I've got a stick up my butt. But Maddie was my little crutch once again, helping me out. And Maddie stayed out during that race and just made sure, like, he stayed out till the last finisher was out there. He was just, he became best friends with everybody. And so it was really fun having him there for so many reasons, not just to help me and be there for me, but he supported so many other athletes out there. And just to hear what they had to say about him was really fun. I'm like, he's mine.
So cute. I do love seeing you guys are so still very much in love and supportive of each other. Very cute. And I can imagine you weren't the only person walking funny after marathon number 6.
Yes, there was definitely some people that like I couldn't believe people's toes and stuff. I'll see toes and stuff like that on like ultras, but oh man, I was like, oh my gosh, seeing like their blisters and their toenails, and I'm like, as I don't have like I never have problems with that. Like even for ultras, like I've gotten a few blisters. I think I got 2 blisters at my 250, but miles. And so seeing people's feet after road running, I was like, oh, I feel so bad. That looks so painful. So painful. And just muscle pains and they're cramping but seeing their determination to finish this out after some people getting food poisoning and, runners runs, all of those fun things that we deal with and still being like, we're going to do this thing. We're going to get them all done. And it may not look pretty, but we're going to get them done. So it was really inspiring to see all walks of life doing all sorts of paces for all sorts of reasons. And everyone's reason was completely different than the others. So it was really, really cool.
So I imagine I'm right off the top of my head, I'm thinking about some of my listeners who would do this just for the bling. They could probably afford it. They travel, they go do all this stuff. I have a good feeling I have some of my audience members that will want to look this up and jump in perhaps because especially with the half marathon option, that really makes it accessible to more people.
And I'll tell you, it does not change the price because the price is of traveling basically. So it's not like, oh, a half marathon, I'm going to get like a bit. I'm just going to tell you right now, straight up.
Pretty.
It is about the travel. So yeah, but yeah, look it up. It was serious. I would do it every single year. There was plenty of people that are like one and done, and I'm like, it was so much fun, so unique, and just the people that it brought together, the friendships that were created, the bonds, like lifelong friends for sure. And to be able to do that once a year and build your community just a little bit more like-minded people that have the same idea of partying, like I would sign me up. But I mean,
maybe.
iFit, sign me up.
I'm just gonna say maybe iFit's listening. hopefully they listen. They've hung in.
I know. Like every year we can make this part of my contract, right?
Sure.
Done.
You know what? iFit. You probably need a high quality announcer to do this thing too. Don't these athletes deserve the respect of a professional voice at the start and finish line?
I'm with you at the start and the finish, and it's loops, so they get you multiple times. Talk about the energy.
That's it. That's the perfect.
Pitch it. I'll be there.
Okay.
Be like,
all right.
Yes, done.
Okay, so we missed day 7. You leave the fancy dinner in Colombia. You fly to Miami, Florida. Tell us about
Miami. So Miami was not near as hot as Colombia. We get there and my hip she's mad. She's angry. So even at the airport while we're waiting for specific things, I had the massage therapist just like digging in and trying to do what he did the day before. And they can see that it's just excruciating pain. And I feel like I've got a high tolerance of pain. I feel like I can deal with things pretty well. And
verified.
I could not, like, the weight on it, like I had to have something, or I'd have my suitcase in it and use that as a cane, use it as a crutch, and just look like I was wrecked from. I mean, I had just done 6 marathons, but I don't feel like nobody else was walking like I was. Nobody else.
Right.
They were all like had their little tweaks and stuff, but it was completely different than anything I've ever experienced pain wise. So they're like, well, don't worry, we'll get you. And Sanchez, the same guy, the racer, he said he'd work on me again. And so I'm like, hey, we're gonna have another miracle. I believe in miracles. I'm just like, come on. And they could not alleviate the pain for the life of them. They probably were working on me for over an hour. And then right up until the start, like 5 minutes before, Sanchez, like he's the racer, and he's right up with me, and he's doing certain drills with me to try to help loosen it, try to help. Like he's like squatting behind me, digging into my psoas as I come up, thinking it's anything he could do to help relieve it. And it was just gone. It was so angry at me, still waddling, still just not knowing how I was going to do it, but I wasn't not going to do it.
Right.
I'd come so far, and I wanted to do all 7 so bad. And I'm like, even if I need to like hobble it, I'm going to hobble it. I mean, I would have done it in my Birks at race 4. What's a little hip pain on race 7? But as that gun went off, or the announcer says go, like it was really painful right from the beginning. Like the run never looked smooth in that run. It was a complete like hobble. And the girls, we had decided to, like, before, we're like, hey, let's stay together. And I said, listen, I do not want you to stay with me if I'm walking like this. You guys need to run these races. Like, you're here to run. You can run. I appreciate it. I love it. But I want you to run it. Like, do what your body can do. And it was really sweet of them to be like, no, we're going to stay together. But I didn't know what I was going to be able to do. I honestly did not know how I was going to get through it. And so they kind of took off. I think they took off around a 7:20 pace. And I think I was doing like a 9:20 my first 2 miles.
Okay.
And I'm not dogging on a 9:20 pace.
Right.
Please know that I'm not, and it was a painful. My heart rate was skyrocket, not because of like heat or overexertion, but just from being tense, running like so tense. And have you ever ran like in like agony? Like
Absolutely.
It's going to elevate your heart rate.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so my heart rate was just, I'm like, people are like, it's the heat. I'm like, I promise it's not the heat that's doing it, but sure, let's get ice, let's do whatever. But it was straight up agony. I kept my glasses on because there was a lot of tears happening, and just like, I was able to build up my pace for about maybe 13, 14 miles. And it was kind of, wouldn't say numb, but better. So I think I built up to like a 7:20, 7:15 for a little bit. And then it was just so much. And I still ended up running pretty like a solid marathon. It was a 3:30 marathon.
Incredible.
So the same pace we did the day before, but a lot more pain and a lot less like fun, like, because I didn't have my girls at all. It was just me solo. But Maddie was out there just looking at me, just being like, honey, pain. This is just a different pain. You can do this for 3 hours. Like, just never saying you need to quit. And I love that about him, because he knows. And there's been times that he's like, there's been a race actually this way. He does know when to call it for me, but he knew I was not going to do that. And he didn't want that for me. He knew I'd hate that forever. And he's like, pain. Now we just got to like take this on in a different way. You've had, cramps, you've had muscle pain, blisters, whatever, foot pain. He's like, this is just in a different area, and tap into it and get through it. And so it's really sweet. He's so good with words. He's so good. It almost is too good because I get emotional out there.
Right.
And I'm like, just stop, but don't stop. And my sister came out and surprised me, and she ran some of it with me, which was so nice, because was my running inspiration. She's the one that got me started in this crazy world of running. And so she ran a few loops, which you're allowed to have. You're allowed to have people come out and run anything they want, which I love about the races. They're so laid back. They stick to all the rules, but like in what they need to stick to. But it's like, you want somebody to run with you a little bit, let them run with you. Like, you want music, have some music. And so she was able to run a few laps with me, which was really special, and to have her there. And I finished hurting like crazy, but so excited to have done it and to have fulfilled a dream that I had for so many years of like running on every continent and doing what I love, and then doing it in that 7-day time period, and being so grateful for the support, the love of everybody. And I didn't win the overall event, but I won in so many other ways. Just like you said, with winning, there's always ways to win. I went home with an Antarctica record. That's something to hold on to. I went home still getting the goal of breaking the previous record. I was still able to break that goal. That my average anyway was a 3:14, like 20 or something. And so the previous one was a 3:23. And so I was able to break that. There was just 2 other people that broke it first, which is amazing. Sure. So I went in giving it everything. I gave it my heart. I gave it my hip.
Yeah.
But what a journey. What an adventure. And if like anybody listening is thinking about doing something like amazing, there's some cool races out there, but this is hands down like the coolest experience I have ever had. And don't think you're just more likely to get injured, because there's so many people that did it that did not get injured. They're totally out running still. I have not been able to run since, but I've had yes. I've had so many decades of no injuries. I haven't been injured since 2008. So I will take this one and be grateful for everything my body's done over the last 10 plus years without injury and doing high mile stuff. You just got to be smart about it. And my body decided to just tell me to slow down. And so we're listening and I'm swimming and biking.
Well, there you go. There's alternatives and they'll get you back to running. Now, did everybody who started the challenge finish it with at least 7 days and 7 continents of at least half marathons?
No.
Okay.
I think there was a few, but Will, the one that was winning them all, he didn't even run. He didn't run the last one at all. Huh. So I know. I was like, I know. So, and he seemed to be okay with it, which I love that he was at peace with it.
Yeah.
Because I know for me personally, I would be like, I have to do at least a half marathon or walk it or something. But he was there, like at where every time we'd go under the arch, he was there cheering for us and everything. He's not like he was like off in his room being like, poor me, I didn't finish yesterday. He was just there supporting us, and he's like, I got no desire to go run today. I was like, okay. So it's crazy how we are all ticking, but he did not do it. So anybody else, I know, I think 2 other people did not finish, but there was even a girl that she got, what is that? Raynaud's, or what is it that when your liver starts to shut?
Oh, I'm not going to come up with the word.
I know. So anyway, she did have to go to the hospital after race 6.
Okay.
And get her liver checked and flushed and hydration and stuff, because we were in Colombia. And so we postponed the flight for her to get to Miami. And even before Miami, she went to the hospital before at Miami because they said she was just on the verge of having her liver shut down. She got pumped with saline. She came out and still walked it and finished it.
Good for her.
I was like, good night. Holy crap. No excuses, guys. No excuses. I could deal with a sore hip.
Right. Well, what's so interesting is we are a stubborn group, us runners. So running in pain, it's like, we got to do it anyways. I very much respect people who do not start a race. If they've had the flu or whatever's going on and they just decide it's not in my best interest, I think it's very mature. It's very difficult to do that. So yeah,
I know.
I respect it so much. And I remember I tore my hamstring warming up for a fight back when I was kickboxing, and I heard a pop and I just wasn't sure. And I thought, I really wanted to kick people in the head. I wanted to fight, and
right.
I pulled the plug before we started, and I had no idea the extent of the damage. Thank God I pulled the plug, but it was one of the most difficult decisions I made, but it was the right decision. So sometimes it's the right decision, and good for those who make that decision. Good for you for knowing that your pain would be temporary.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I do respect, those people that can just call it too. Cause I'm like, I've been sick at plenty of races. I'm like, I'm still going to do it. I'm just stubborn. But also I think the stubbornness is one of the reasons I'm where I am. But yeah, you need to pick your battles. And I've become a smarter athlete, but still not the smartest, clearly, as I'm here waddling away, but it'll get better. It'll be good. It'll be good to go in no time. And I'm grateful that I can still move. I could still swim and bike. And I love doing both. And I can lift. Next time you see me, I'm going to be jacked in the upper body.
Yeah, right. Well, strength training is a fountain of youth, right? So
It is. And I need to do more of it. So this is just my body's way of being like, hey, you've been talking about doing more strength training for a long time. We're going to make you do it.
oh yeah, you're going to benefit from this period off. It's going to serve you so well. Hey, I've got two important questions to ask you before we wrap this up. So thank you for sharing your adventure. I was so excited watching you, and I thought, I got to bring her back on the show. Thank you for
I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad you did.
You're such a delight. So at the end of each show, I've been giving a communication tip because I find some people have a hard time relaying information coherently, concisely. What would be a communication tip that you would like to share with our audience?
A communication tip for what do you mean by this?
So my last guest said, be honest. I like that very much. And then I encourage people to, for example, not talk with food in their mouth. So there's a variety of ways you could go with that.
Okay, that's why I was like, wait, where are we going with this? But I do like both of those. My biggest tip then, be patient. Be patient. Things don't happen overnight. Be patient.
I love it. Okay, be patient. Thank you. And then song of the week. So someone's going to add your favorite song or whatever song you're recommending to their strength training, Pilates, pickleball, running, whatever they're going to do. What should they add to their playlist?
It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. They're going to hate me, but I'm a punk rock girl. So I've been like blasting like the Simple Plan Christmas album. And oh my gosh, it's so fun.
Is there
so
one
you need a
song?
little punk rock. You need a little Christmas love. Open up Simple Plan, their Christmas stuff. It's so much fun.
Okay. Well, I love that. We certainly haven't had that before. No one's recommended.
Yes. And I'm sure nobody's going to download it, but a few of those little girls with the punk rock heart, just, for me, I'm like a little punk rock and Christmas mix. It's like,
you know what? Somebody is going to download that and then they're going to message you and they're going to message me and say, hey, I did it.
Yes. They're going to have a great workout and just go run to it for me. Because I can't run. I probably won't be able to run this month. So run to it for me. Just
plans Christmas. I love it. I love it. And I love you.
I love you. Thank you so much for having me and just like letting me be a part of this. You are such a light to the world. We need more of this. So thank you.
Where can people find you, Ashley?
Okay. I am on Instagram. It's AshKickin. And I am so new, so don't laugh at me, to TikTok. I don't even really know how it works yet, but it's AshKickin1 on TikTok.
Okay. Was there already an AshKickin there? And you had to be number one?
I just found this out last week. My husband told me, he's like, you actually are AshKickin as well. And I just had no idea I had that one. But then I built it over the 7, the AshKickin1. So I just need to go cancel one. And anyway, I'm special, you guys.
No.
Social media world, let me just run. But yeah, that's where actually a lot of the things for the 777 is on TikTok, because my daughter would get the media and she knows TikTok better. So she would load it to TikTok and not Instagram. So there's a lot of fun stuff on TikTok about the 7.
Well, good. Make good use of your little humans and their talents. It's a smart mom.
Like, Mom, we don't use Instagram anymore. We are TikTok.
No. All right, girl. All you got to do right now is, with gusto, tell my audience to get to work.
All right, people, let's do this. Get to work.
I love you.
Love you. See you later. Bye.
Hi, this is Rudy Novotny, the voice of America's Marathons. We all love how much running has benefited every aspect of our lives, so much so that most of us only wish we'd started sooner. Wouldn't it be wonderful to gift the opportunity to children of today? Well, you can. The Morning Mile is a before-school walking and running program that gives children a chance to start each day in an active way while enjoying fun, music, and friends. That's every child, every day. It's also supported by a wonderful system of rewards, which keeps students highly motivated and frequently congratulated. Created by our favorite fitness expert, Fitz. Morning milers across the country have run over 2 million miles and are having greater success with academics, behavior, and sports because of it. The Morning Mile is free to the child, free to the school, and is inexpensively funded by businesses or generous individuals. Help more kids get moving in the morning by visiting morningmile.com. Champion the program at your favorite school or find out more about sponsorship opportunities. That's morningmile.com. Long may you run.